Greetings and welcome back everyone. If you like these videos, be sure to share them with your friends to help the channel grow. I do appreciate it. I'm Crypto Snake, back again to bring you some Bitcoin analysis. So diving right into the Bitcoin analysis here, we're going to start out on the daily chart. The Williams %R indicator, which is a measure of the overall bullish to bearish trend reversals, came from the bearish to the bullish now and has slowly been descending and consolidating in this area as the prices continue to restrict into this absolutely beautiful ascending triangle pattern displayed in the red. This to me is a very bullish sign. The Kopik curve, which is also a measurement of the overall trend direction, is starting to level off, indicating a move is potentially coming soon. I expect that we're actually going to see some sharp movements on Bitcoin over the next 48 hours or so, especially with Monday looming. Normally Monday is a dump day. However, on these low volume days for the past 2 weeks or so, it has produced very violent green candles. Onto the relative strength index, which is a measure of oversold to overbought conditions. The RSI is remaining steady on the daily, around 50 or so. It has just kind of been side trending in this area with no real indication of a massive drop or plunge. But that combined with the Williams %R and the Kopik curve leads me to believe that we are going to go for a massive pump soon. Back on the Ichimoku system, the Chikou span broke above the price, which gave us this very nice green pump here, which we did capitalize on in the VIP. Has been continually pressuring the resistance of the 3900 ascending triangle level. This to me is bullish if we can break this level. Also in the Ichimoku system, as we grow closer to the daily cloud, it actually becomes more and more likely that we will break into this cloud and ride it to the next resistance level, somewhere around the 4800 level. Also in the Ichimoku system, as Bitcoin grows closer and closer to the daily cloud, it becomes more and more likely that we will break into this cloud and ride it to the next resistance level around 4800 or so. Now there is of course the bearish perspective, which would include us violating these trend lines at the moment to test the daily cloud off the Senkou span B and break downwards. A rejection off of this would be incredibly bearish. Now there are two factors that are actually in favor of a breakdown on Bitcoin right now, and I'm going to cover them in fairness to the bears as well. One of which is the overextended Bitcoin longs, which is fairly concerning. Switching over to the Bitcoin long chart, Bitcoin longs, which is the measurement of people betting that Bitcoin is going to go up, is nearing an all-time high. This level would be marked out by around 36,000 or so longs. What is very concerning about this is the Williams %R is well into the bullish territory, indicating reversal towards the bearish territory. And the RSI on the daily is sitting around 66. If we move down to the 4-hour, this is even more aggressive. The RSI spiked all the way up to 90, is now pulled back to around 87, and the Williams %R is again well up into that range. What this indicates to me is that there could be a potential long squeeze occurring soon. Now moving back to Bitcoin really fast, just take a look at this. If we were hit with a long squeeze, it would invalidate a lot of these trend lines. Whether it's temporary or not remains to be seen. Normally they move into a Bart-Simpson pattern. So if we break down and violate these trends, it does mean that we're going to be respecting this descending triangle on the bearish daily. However, if we break back down and we just start side trending sideways from the long squeeze, we're also very likely to short squeeze right back up into the trend. This is something to be aware of moving forwards. Until we break this 3900 level, I'm not confident that we are going to burst up very high. We also need to break this neckline here. So these are the two pivotal prices, 3900 and then the neckline around 4200 depending on when we hit it. Now the second bearish indication that is working in favor of a potential price drop right now would be Ethereum. Ethereum, as you may or may not know, just as Bitcoin drags down Ethereum, Ethereum is also capable of dragging down Bitcoin. Overwhelmingly bearish. On the daily, we are well into the bullish territory, indicating a reversal. The RSI is nearing the top on the daily chart. The Kopik curve is starting to descend now on the daily as well. Moving down to the 4-hour, same thing, the Williams %R is breaking down from the bullish territory down into the bearish territory. And the shorts and longs situation on Ethereum is no different. Ethereum is heavily overextended with the long position. What it would really take for this to start cascading down would be one gigantic liquidation or bot liquidation movement to send the price rocketing downwards. This would take Bitcoin with it. Although if it took Bitcoin with it, it would also be very temporary. Now down to the 4-hour for Bitcoin, we did find some support on the 4-hour Kijun-sen and broke back down and found some support on the Tenkan-sen. However, the Williams %R is only halfway down through the trend right now, so this may continue down a little bit further, possibly wicking down more in the short term to test the previous support. If we adjust this trend line a little bit, we can get a basic idea of where this might break down to. It's likely to find support around the 3770 level on the next 4-hour candle. Now in the VIP, we did capitalize on this symmetrical triangle formation displayed in green. This was the breakout that we saw and the next attempt at the resistance of the ascending triangle. The ascending triangle, as well as all of these other patterns that I covered in the previous video, this is a bullish pattern. Symmetrical triangle is also a bullish continuation pattern. That's why we broke up to test this resistance. So right now Bitcoin is moving with quite a bit of bullish bias, and my VIPs do get the play-by-play action on this depending on where the market develops. So I will give out an update when that price breaks down below these trend lines. If it does start looking bearish, we will be on top of that, and if it breaks through one of these very important levels, we'll also be on top of that. Moving back to the daily chart really fast, I just want to point out these 3 price levels that are very, very important right now. The first of which would be a break through the bearish descending triangle, which is also coinciding with the ascending triangle. This descending triangle on the daily chart is very likely to break us down to 1800 and test a new low for Bitcoin if we stick below this resistance level. So this is really the main formation to be watching on the daily. If we break out of this, however, it will be entirely negated. Now this price level right now is around the 38.60 level or so, give or take a couple dollars here and there. It does coincide with the ascending triangle price, which is set at 38.90, give or take about $10 or so. It really depends on whether or not you count in these wicks. So now if we break above this ascending triangle, we are likely to move parabolic up to test the neckline, which is around a 7% move on Bitcoin in bullish favor. This would test the neckline around 41.60 depending on where we hit it. This is the major catalyst. This would be the major area to watch, this price area here. If it does break, we're very likely to shoot up to test around the 5,300, 5,200 level. We're definitely going to find some significant resistance around 4,800 though. So there you go. Those are the 3 price levels that you need to be watching right now: 38.70, 41.60, and 4,800. Now before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakepit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptoSnakeVIP to get regular updates. We've been absolutely on top of Bitcoin's movement in the VIP, pulling savage gains since this month began. I also give out hot altcoin swing positions every week to my VIPs. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. I've also released a brand new unique feature for my VIP elite, access to our automatic artificial intelligence bot, which automatically targets altcoins ready for a steady pump. And I'm always happy to answer questions. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Telegram at officialcryptosnake. So just a quick reminder on Ethereum before I get into some technical analysis here. Ethereum is having 3 hard forks that are coming up: the Classic Vision, the Ethereum Noah, and the Constantinople fork. 2 of these forks are technically airdrops. They are very likely to increase the price rapidly as people want to take advantage of these free tokens. That will very likely spike the price. This would be January 11th and January 12th. If you want to take advantage of these free token swaps, Binance is supporting them. So as long as you're holding at least 1 Ethereum on Binance, you will be participating in that airdrop. Keep in mind, however, historically, airdrops pump up, and then the moment of the snapshot, people jump off that heavy price increase because a 30% increase on your gains is worth more than a token that's worth about 30 cents. So most people do hop off those airdrops at the top, and those days are coincided right next to each other. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of volatility out of Ethereum. Now the Constantinople mainnet fork is a little bit different. This would be on the 16th. This may actually cause a bit of a price drop in Ethereum, as people who are holding Ethereum may actually put their Ethereum into deciding one direction or the other for their fork. So they may not support the Constantinople fork. So this actually may reduce the price of Ethereum and the overall volume. So I would take advantage of these airdrops and possibly take profit on them, but personally, I'm not going to sit in for the actual token swap. Remember, buy the hype, sell the news. So as far as Ethereum's technical analysis, which I delved into a little bit earlier today, the Chiku span is above the price, which is currently bullish, but it is also leveling off around this heavy resistance of 155 to 160. I did say in previous videos that I did believe that 160 would be a heavy testing point, and we are likely to break down from there. The Kopik curve is descending, indicating that the trend is overall down, while the price is increasing. This is overwhelmingly bearish. The RSI, or Relative Strength Index, is in the overbought territory around 63. This indicates that it will attempt to move for equilibrium around the 50 level at least. The Williams %R is also heavily up into the bullish territory, indicating a reversal towards the bearish. So I am expecting a dip here, especially with the daily Kijun-sen ascending. Normally the Kijun-sen does act as support, but with it rising this rapidly, I expect the price to break into the Kijinsen and down below and act as resistance. So far it's kind of a mixed bag on where Ethereum might go in the next coming days or so. With the airdrop events, it can very likely just violate all of this technical analysis and start mooning through the roof. It depends on when people start hopping on board for that. We have less than a week to go. There may be a battle here coming soon with the price dropping rapidly and then shooting right back up. People attempting to scoop it up for that airdrop very soon. I will be keeping my eye on this, and I will give these updates out to my VIP. Taking a look at Litecoin down on the 4-hour chart, we are still kind of respecting this wedge. There's definitely been some increased volatility over the past 24 hours with Bitcoin booming and flying up in price. It does appear to have capped out around $37 or so and is now descending. Based on the Williams %R, I would expect this price to come down and test the lower side of this wedge around $33 or so. Down on the daily Kijinsen is also ascending, acting as support. What concerns me about Litecoin right now is that the Williams %R is also nearing that upper bullish territory, indicating a reversal. Still has a little bit of room to grow, so it may come up to test this 40 resistance first. It really depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin continues to surge and flies through the ascending triangle, Litecoin's price is also very likely to increase. Now, if Bitcoin's side trends or that long squeeze occurs, it will take Litecoin with it, and Litecoin would start plummeting through this daily cloud. But the fact that it broke into the daily cloud is definitely bullish. Now, Litecoin did break through a historic resistance level here. Previous pump met this resistance and was rejected after wicking through a couple times. The fact that it broke through and finished a candle above is bullish. So if it can hold this support, that is definitely a bullish indication. I do expect it to continue riding up in this wedge until the final breakdown. What this would look like is something like this, testing the bottom of the wedge, breaking up, testing the upper resistance of the daily cloud, coming back, test the wedge, and then breaking through to test back into the cloud. So on to some news. This story specifically is more towards miners. If you're watching this, the Ethereum developers gave a tentative green light to ASIC blocking code. What this means is that they're developing a code for Ethereum, likely to occur in the hard forks, to block ASICs, which are the massive computer miners that people spend money on, as opposed to graphics card mining. A lot of Ethereum mining is done through graphics cards, and that's where people prefer to mine. So this development will affect mining. It's actually very, very good news for miners, and it's good news for the Ethereum price as well. This will shut off a lot of ASIC miners, which will also reduce the difficulty of Ethereum, and it'll bring a lot more miners back into Ethereum. And as we know, during the Ethereum crash, a lot of miners did shut down their systems. So bringing back those natural miners will bring a lot more momentum into Ethereum. Now, some more very, very bullish news for Ethereum is that Ethereum will hold Apple and Tesla stock next week. The DX exchange is capable of holding stocks in cryptocurrency. The melding of these two markets is very good news, and it makes me very bullish for Ethereum moving forwards as a project. The more money that can be brought into the crypto space from this, and vice versa, is very good to meld those two together. And one more bullish story for Bitcoin. 4K ahead, Bitcoin's low volume price pullback could be a bear trap. Now, this I've been covering for weeks now, that we are forming an inverse head and shoulders. This also is charted out here with this neckline, inverse head and shoulders. You can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder, where we're forming right now, and a possible test of the 50-day moving average, which also coincides with our triangle formation and the resistance level that I set out. There is definitely a lot of bullish news coming out for a price increase, a lot of targets in the 4,200 to 5,000 range or so. Now, even though this story is bullish, it does have me a little bit concerned. Moving back to the Bitcoin chart, what has me concerned here is the overall contrarian viewpoint. A lot of the market is now jumping onto this, expecting a massive price increase, and the contrarian in me is telling me to be very, very wary of that, as it may produce a lot of gamblers to jump in on those longs and start that long liquidation to bring us back down to test the lower support level. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we will see a breakout from this ascending triangle and not a rejection back down into the descending triangle. Regardless, play it safe, because there is definitely a very, very large move that is coming very soon. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/CryptoSnakePit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is CryptoSnake, signing off.